Hi. So, I want to make a video we live in troubling times, and people are not acting the way they should because of the restrictions that have been put on the world and everything else. And people with depression, people with anxiety, people with just. I saw in the news the kids were beating up their parents because of this, and the world's just gone crazy, and it's just um, psychologically we forget the main thing, that the life that we've got. Yes, certainly there's things that's been put in this way. There's been obstacles throughout our lives, and we've had to cope with, and we've got through them. And we have in our mindset that, you know, oh, this person was too young, that he was too young. You know, what is too young? Somebody at 40, somebody at 50, 30, 20, 10. It's endless debates. And whenever somebody dies, somebody will always say, oh, blessed, he was too young, you know, and it could be something about that. I mean, if we think back to the past where, you know, life was really hard, and, you know, I mean, I'm not going back as far as Vikings or anything like that, but even 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, the further we go back in time, the less of a, you know, the, the less older people there probably were. You know, it's quite, your lifeline was a bit shorter, and you know, teenagers were roughly the adults, you know, back then. And but what, because life was probably shorter back in those days, people tend to live life more fuller in such a short period of time. But we're living in this stage, we are living, you know, longer, so we have less of a haste to do things. I mean, I could be totally wrong. People leave school and they want to go and see the world and everything else, and you get to middle age and you feel like you haven't done everything that you wanted to do, and your body starts failing on you and stuff. You know, and what I think could be it is, just imagine, and there's going to be a point to this. Just imagine, before we came who we are, we were someplace else, right? We were just little bits in the air, and we get a chance to experience this life. Okay, and I've said this many times in my videos before. And so you go into the body to experience this sort of life, and sometimes the body isn't really what you wanted, isn't really, yeah, it's not working properly, so you change the body. You get what I'm on? You know, you change the body from male to female, what not, or maybe you wanted an experience of being, you know, like-minded. You want to have like love with the same sort of sex as a sort of experience, or maybe the body isn't working the way it should, but after all, it's still a living experience that you chose to take on. Now, here's the thing. every other living animal on the planet, everything that you can see that lives and breathes or whatnot, they're all a part of the same sort of energy. I mean, you see these people that like hug trees and everything else, and you see these people. Oh, we're all one, Buddhists and whatnot, and the beliefs and stuff. Well, maybe there is something to it. I mean, a lot of people are looking into energy just now and stuff that we don't understand. But I'm just talking, just idea wise. What if you know everything that lives or breathes is still the same place where we were when we decided to have this experience as a human being, and there's our brothers and sisters out there someplace, and they've decided I want to try my experience as an ant, as a bee, as a fly, as a. I mean, I've had pets in my life, and and they have all these wee different mannerisms, and some, like cats think they're dogs, or dogs think they're humans, and so to speak, and they don't see themselves as that, as a dog or as a cat. They see themselves either as part of the family, or they just see themselves as a normal other living thing, and so in that sort of sense, then we are all sort of connected, and we're having this experience of life, and for some, even down to the animals, it's cut short by, I don't know, by another predator killing it, or by maybe a human killing it, or whatnot. Humans kill humans, and so to speak, or your body just fails. There are so many different ways, but we're all still connected, having this sort of wild thing. So when you see your pet, I mean, I remember going to see a medium one time, and the medium even took on the persona of this woman's pet. Oh, there's your dog or cat, whatnot, just came over to say hello. And you think to yourself, well, I was thinking that myself at sometimes. It's just, what if that? So there's a cat, there's a dog there, and they died, but they're still in this sort of state, and so that always puzzled me, But I've always, but because, say the energies are out there, and they've decided to live their life as this for their experience, then it just stands to right that once a pet of yours or whatnot dies and joins the rest of the energies, but wants to hang about and make sure they get to talk to you afterwards, then it's only right they still coexist with their body, because to them they're not a cat, they're just this other living being having. So it's just fine. So then what you call, then I'll look at people with mental health problems, and even these big stars like Robin Williams, that and people that commit suicide and everything else. And you think to yourself, how did they get that way? Why did they choose to take their life? And people blame themselves constantly, families, and I mean, I've always said I don't have time for people that choose to commit suicide, and and because it leaves the people around that person feeling guilty, and we could have done more to help out, and what did we miss out? Did we not see the signs? But if we get to an idea of our heads, well, maybe the person just had enough of that experience. Now, I'm not saying that it's far from okay to end your life, but it also raises the question of euthanasia. When people are their quality of their experience of life is really bad, and they are stuck in this sort of body that's not allowing them to have the experience of life that they wanted. And so maybe it's up to that person himself. So the whole question about taking your life or time to go, maybe it should be looked at differently. Now, I'm not saying it should, but you gather all these ideas and facts, and there are tribes in the world that actually celebrate death, and that the person's soul and whatnot is moved on to another experience or another hibernation, and not hibernation, another, they've moved on to a different sort of, involved into another sort of life and whatnot. And as I'm getting older, I think of all those who have left me in my life, and your life feels sometimes that it's repeating, that you're not doing stuff, or it's like you don't need to travel around the world to experience the full things of life, because sometimes what you need out in life is just on your front doorstep. It's different for everybody. It's different for their own experience out there. And so, but as you get older, and life does become repetitive, and that's when the middle age crisis starts happening. What am I doing with my life? I wish I did this. I wish I'd done that, and stuff. And as you get older as well, people start dying around you and everything else, and you're still here. And as I was talking to somebody, younger, they have no idea of the experience and things like the movies and music and whatnot that I have. So the people that I have all these things in common, it's like the movie Highlander, when the person, with Queen, he lives forever, but he has to watch all these people around him die, all the people that, and in order to get on with the next sort of level of people, you've got to try to connect with them and get into, so it's just a vicious circle. I'm my generation I can talk to because we've got so much in common, but as we get older and all these new things start coming in, and people get anxious, or they start thinking, I prefer the old ways, I prefer that, and then you think, really, I've had enough. Really, it's a new thing. It's a new thing for the next generation. All these computers and all that sort of stuff. So that's me, Hans. It's, for me, it's a minefield, and so as we sit here and we think about what's going on in the world, and people feeling low and anxiety, well, try not to take it as serious. Try to take it as an experience, and it's your experience, and don't waste it. When it comes to those either hard choices, or when it comes to you feel like you've been walked all over, or your job is getting you down, then just pick yourself up and change your experience. Let's play this experience to the end as far as we can. Okay? Because if we're still here, then somewhere along the lines we have chosen to still be here. And if we're and deep down, if we're still wanting to be here, then let's not go against what we really, really want. And let's start looking for the next thing. Let's start looking for the next interest. Let's celebrate just this whole experience as long as we can. Let's not mourn for those that have passed if they've gone too soon or too far, because maybe they will always forever live within us, but maybe for them deep down that this was their experience they've wanted, and they've lived a full and happy sort of experience doing that. And let's not blame ourselves for anything. Let's not blame ourselves for our lives we lead or whatever. And it's and I believe when I get to that old age, I will suddenly just turn around and say, I've had enough. I've done it. I've lived it. I've lived my life, and I'm time to check out any time. I'm watching my watch here. So thank you very much for this great life. I'll carry on, but just let us know, because I can't remember, the booking I had. Did I want 50 years? Did I want 60 years? Let's make sure we get our money's worth and live as happy and as long as we probably wanted to, and when we chose this. Okay, that's the way I see it. Okay, and as I say, everything is connected. So these are just my thoughts and ideas. So let us know what you think about it. And hopefully it's might have been a wee bit uplifting for you. As I say, I've always lived around people that's passed away in my family, and sometimes as I say, we always think of why am I still here and everything else, but if you don't look too sad, too negative about it, and my mother was too young to go, and this happened or that happened to them, and but if you think to yourself that was maybe an experience they wanted, I mean, it sounds wrong when I'm saying that, but if you keep on killing yourself over killing yourself is the wrong phrase, I mean, but if you keep putting yourself down because you didn't do anything that could have helped prevent somebody or make somebody's life better, then let's just celebrate the time that they had here on Earth. And if they've totally went down that path of had enough, then it is not your problem whatsoever, because not everybody wants to live forever. Thank you for listening. Hope some of it made sense to you. Leave your comments down below. Thank you.